My name is Chris Simuro, and this is Dr. Deborah Maxwell, and we're with BoMax Hydrogen. And so today we're going to tell you about a brand new technology that has a chance to totally revolutionize the world of hydrogen, right? So today we know that about 95% of the world's hydrogen comes from steam methane reformation. It's a very carbon intensive, a very inefficient energy process, but it's hydrogen made cheap because it's a byproduct when they refine oil. The other 5 or 10% of the hydrogen today is produced through electrolysis. And when that's done with solar power, that is actually the greenest way to make hydrogen. But electrolysis has been around for 200 years, so there's not a lot of innovation left. The world is looking and demanding for another technology. So what we wanted to tell the world is that there is a brand new technology at BoMax, and it's a light direct to gas. We do not make electricity, so we are not splitting water. We're not creating something new in terms of a renovation or innovation on electrolysis. Dr. Maxwell discovered the enzyme that's in our soil that when you mix water and sunlight with it, makes hydrogen in the natural world every day. So our technology just mimics what nature does, okay? So we like to talk about the advantages of our technology versus others, right? There are 6. It's light activated. So any form of visible light, an LED, a halogen, or sunlight will kick off a very stable catalytic reaction that makes hydrogen, right? It makes hydrogen on site, so we no longer have to ship it, transport it, pipe it through. These systems we have will make the hydrogen on site. It does it at ambient temperature. It does it using no rare earth minerals, and all the components needed to make this technology work are inexpensive. So we manufacture and ferment our enzymes, our proteins, our nanoparticles. We do that all in-house. Right? Lastly, and most importantly, the technology is totally scalable. If you need something at 10 kilograms, you need something at 1,000 kilograms, technology will work in both applications. All right? So I've showed this slide to a lot of people, and I see some friendly faces at the booth today, but this is simply how the technology works. We say we need 5 things: the enzyme, the chaperone protein, and the nanoparticle. When you put those all together, that's what we call the catalyst. When we source that with electrons and protons and put that in the form of any visible light, it makes hydrogen. Now, there have been other people who have made photocatalytic reactions make hydrogen for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We've been able to extend our reaction out 75 days continuously and out to 180 days on and off. So it's not novel that we can make hydrogen with a photobicatalytic process. It's the stability of the catalyst. A lot of catalysts, when they make hydrogen, they want to grab it back, or they degrade, or they die. The system is incredibly stable. As long as we keep it sourced with electrons or protons, keep it in front of light, it just continually makes hydrogen. All right? Here's a visualization of it. So we envision we will have these glass panels. Sunlight will hit that. The sunlight will hit the face of the nanoparticle, excite an electron, and that kicks off a set of gears that ultimately produces pure green hydrogen. One of the other things I get asked a lot here at the show is, what do you do with the oxygen? We do not produce any oxygen. This is a one-way technology. It only produces hydrogen, okay? All right, so in terms of what we've worked on, so the company is about 10 years old, and for the first 6 years, we were very fortunate that Space Florida and NASA grabbed us, and they invited us into what's called the Space Life Sciences building. So from that time, we've been working on optimizing the technology. And optimizing means 3 things. 1, extending the duration. How long will the reaction last? How much, in terms of rate, how much, or the efficiency, how much hydrogen will you make per hour or per day? And then lastly, what about the cost to manufacture? So on the rate side, we've increased the rate over 5,000x in the last 6, 7 years. We've extended duration from 5 to 75 days, and then we've dropped the cost 60% just in the last year. So we have a lot of room. That was just some low-hanging fruit. So I was sharing this technology with people of the world, and what I consistently got was, this is amazing technology, but it's a little hard to believe it works, right? So a couple years ago, we actually built an alpha prototype for the purposes of proving that the technology actually works, right? So this is an actual picture of the alpha prototype, and this is at our booth. We're at A58 if you want to come see it, right? What you see here is in this blue light container is our catalyst, and we turn light on and it activates and it starts making hydrogen. As long as we keep it sourced with light and keep it sourced with protons, electrons, the catalyst or the technology has never stopped making hydrogen, okay? All right, Lastly, in terms of the achievements and awards, when we showed our alpha prototype and we showed our ability to get down to $1 to $2 a kilogram on the cost side, the U.S. Department of Energy gave us the Innovation Award. That was a game-changing day for us because up to that point, we had been having to argue and tell the world that we're really believable and credible. When the U.S. Department of Energy reviewed our technology, scrubbed all of our numbers, and awarded us the Innovation Award, that changed everything. Now the world is coming at us and trying to figure out who the right partners are for us to move to commercialization. All right, so we're getting ready to kick off an investment Series A offering this summer. So before that, we had the technology validated. So we've had subject matter experts come in, test the technology. They've also opined that there's no scientific reason or impediment to scale. I also forgot to mention that this technology is patented as well. Now, one of the things we learned about the two doctors who did the validation work is that for the last 20 years, a major part of their life's research has been on sourcing electrons into photocatalytic reactions. So Dr. Maxwell's invention will go for 5 days, nonstop, and making hydrogen, and then it would peacefully stop. The reason why it stopped was it had consumed all the available or free electrons. When we put more electrons in, the technology comes back to life and it keeps producing. This gentleman in particular has a technology where you insert an electrode into our glass vial and you shoot about 100 millivolts of electricity and it repopulates all the electrons you need for the technology to work. This could allow our technology to run continuously for 90, 100, 360 days. We honestly don't know. We've never hit the end point for the technology, for the catalyst to start degrading. All right? All right. We get compared all the time, is this electrolysis? This is not electrolysis. We are not splitting water, okay? So in this slide, what we're showing is to go from sunlight to a use like a forklift or a heister, it's 6 steps. Solar energy creates electricity, it goes in electrolysis, it creates gas, back to a fuel cell, back to electricity, then to power what your use is. When we use our direct sunlight, we go from 6 steps down to 4 steps. We do not need to create electricity. So intuitively, our technology is always going to be more efficient as long as the technology is optimized. The other big differential is you need a very sunny day for solar panels to work. Our technology will work on a cloudy day as well. Now, if there's storms and nighttime, we'll have the same limitations, but we will have so many more useful time periods that our technology can make hydrogen versus a solar power solution. So another way to look at this is if we take a 1 square meter solar panel and a 1 square meter BoMax panel, and we analyze what is the production or the efficiency. The most efficient solar panel on the market today can create 38 liters of hydrogen through electrolysis. We think in 6 months we'll be at 50 liters, and a year from now we're going to be at 100 liters. So we'll be producing twice the amount of hydrogen over the same time period in about a year. Another question I get is, well, what would be the geographic footprint needed to make this technology work compared to electrolysis? So if I want to make 1 kilogram of hydrogen per day, I need 40 square meters of solar panels. For us, we think in 6 months we're going to be at 32, but in a year we believe we'll be down to 8 to 10 square meters. So we'll produce twice the amount of hydrogen with about 1/4 of the geographic footprint. Okay? All right. Most importantly is cost, right? Because everything, it can be a great technology, but if you can't do it at a commercial market point, then it was a really cool science experiment, all right? So we created this model, right? And so there are 3 tiers here. The first one is your manufacturing cost of the catalyst itself. That's your fixed cost. The efficiency is how many kilograms of efficiency will it make per day? And then duration is the remaining columns, all right? So let me give you a hypothetical. If we get the cost target 2 in manufacturing, we make 200 kilogram efficiency ratio, and we get the technology to work for 180 days, we're at 566 a kilogram. Now, in green technology, green hydrogen, that's okay for right now, but for this to be long-term viable, you really need to be below below $2 for this to work, right? So what we say is, for this technology to be commercially viable, we need to be here. But if we get to cost target 300 kilograms efficiency, and we make it last a year, we have models that show we can be sub $1 per kilogram. Now, the question I get with this is, how confident are you, right? Do you really believe you can hit these variables? What I would tell you is on the manufacturing costs, that's going from very small to a much larger industrial scale, and we have some models we're relying on for that. So I feel pretty good about that. In terms of our efficiency, today we're at 100 kilograms per mole per day. So 120 is nothing because we've already increased the reaction rate over 5,000x. So we've actually gotten it up to 348 kilograms in the lab. So we very confident on the efficiency. The make or break for our technology in the marketplace is duration. So that is what's key. That renewable electron donor of dumping in electrons via electricity, if that works, and we already have some positive results, but she will not let me tell you all that yet because she wants to replicate it 5 more times. But we hope very soon we're going to be able to start releasing that the technology working with that electrode is actually showing some really positive results. In terms of the commercial markets, this is what the market will pay per kilogram, and this is the amount of hydrogen the system needs to be able to produce per day, right? So we had very early ties with NASA and Space Florida, right? So that's how we kind of birthed with them. They will pay a lot for pure green hydrogen, right? The next one is the scientific community. This is cell phone towers in the United States, in particular, the backup power generators for that. Then we move into primary home, forklifts, utility vehicles, and then large-scale industrial. But we will start small, and we will work to larger size projects, all right? All right, so we showed you the alpha. So the next step is we need to develop a beta prototype. And a beta prototype is something that's going to more closely resemble what a commercial unit would look like. So we envision a group of panels, and our catalyst is orange in color, right? So these panels will sit there, the light will hit them, and they'll immediately start making hydrogen. So we hope that we're going to have the design all finalized this summer. Excuse me, this summer. Then we're going to start fabricating the units in the 4th quarter. By the end of the year, we want to be doing beta testing and evaluation because our plan is that we're going to start doing commercial testing of the technology in 2025. And we've got some partners around the world that are lining up to be our test partners in this endeavor. All right. So this is the mock-up of the beta. We unveiled that today at the show. This is the first time anybody outside BoMax has actually seen the mock-up of what the beta unit would look like. So what we're just doing is we're simulating that there's going to be a glass vial. It's going to be 1 square meter, right? It's going to have a certain amount of catalyst in it, and then light's going to hit it, and it's going to immediately make hydrogen right there at that spot, okay? If you would like to see this, again, our booth is A58. You can actually watch it in action working here at the show from a simulated basis, all right? All right. In terms of our timeline, as I mentioned before, so the next 12 months is really going to be focused on the beta design and fabrication and working through what we know will be engineering challenges. We have 2 risk points for this technology to work. One I mentioned is the duration. The other is the heat. The reaction itself creates a heat signature. The sunlight creates heat. So we know that we need to keep the technology, let's say, below 38°C, right? There's no risk on the downside about it freezing, but we do have concerns that if we get up at 40°C and above, that it could start to impact the catalytic reaction itself, all right? Mid-2025, we hope to have all the commercial testing lined up so that we can launch and go commercial in 2026, all right? So our goals today, first one is just to build awareness that there is a brand new technology that has the opportunity to totally disrupt green hydrogen, right? The technology has been patented, it's been validated, it's been awarded. So that we've gone through multiple levels of scrutiny and assessed all the risks from a credibility and passed every single one of them, right? Next thing is we know we're going to need partnerships, right? From a business perspective, what we look at this is more like Intel. Like Intel made the chip, right? Didn't ever make a computer, right? So we want partners in the world who want to sell computers. We just want to make the Intel chip. For us, that's the catalyst. We want to just make the catalyst, right? And we can do that regionally, have locations around the world, or we could outsource that and license that technology to others. Okay? All right, so partnership can mean technology, bolting one technology onto ours, 1 + 1 = 4. It can be business end user, as I just talked about. It can be money, right? We're going to be going through a Series A offering this summer. If you check 2 of those boxes, we call you a strategic partner. That's really what we want, right? We want somebody who wants to give us money, but we also want somebody who wants to partner with us or use it in their, and a lot of the maritime shipping companies are excited about our technology, and I believe they're going to be some of our earliest investors in this. Okay? And then lastly, just letting the world know we're kicking off a Series A. All right? All right, I've hit you with a ton of information, all right? We have a few minutes really quick. to just go through any Q&A if anybody has any questions. Good? All right.
Your catalyst, is it hard to get supply of it?
No.
No.
So the enzyme comes from a common soil bacteria. We ferment and purify all of our cells. So we make all of our enzymes, we make all of our proteins, and then we also make our nanoparticles as well. So that part, the components are easy. They're replicatable. We tell people we're going to become a big beer company, right? Because we're going to have massive fermenters, right? That are just going to be fermenting cells, right? So we look at it like that from that perspective. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you very much. If you have any opportunity, you want to come see the alpha or the beta units, our booth is at A58, and we thank you for your time.